Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Get Help, Give Help here at Columbia Boone County Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host again, Steve Hollis. I'm the Human Services Manager here, and I'm also serving as the Essential Support Function 6 Mass Care and Human Services Lead during Boone County's emergency operations in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. As usual, each week, we have been featuring kind of a topic or a theme. Today's theme, Give Help, Giving Tuesday is Give Help. And I've got several guests here with us that are all partners in our Como Helps collaboration. So I'm going to introduce those guys here in a minute. In the meantime, just a reminder to give help. We're encouraging folks to go to comohelps.org. And there you can either give your money to the United Way or to the Community Foundation or your time through volunteering. And so we're going to talk about those opportunities in more detail today. Also, to get help, as usual, we're encouraging folks to either call 211 or to go to the city's COVID-19 Get Help page, where we have really specific resources available to folks who need help during the pandemic. With that said, I'm gonna introduce our panelists today. We've got John Baker. John is the Executive Director of the Community Foundation of Central Missouri. We've got Joanne Nelson. She's the Director of Boone County Community Services Department. Andrew Graybaugh, the Executive Director of the Heart of Missouri United Way. And Eric Morse. Eric is the Associate Director of People Services at Veterans United, but he's also the President of the Veterans United Foundation Board. And I'm going to have each of these guys talk a little bit about their work and their partnership in Como Helps and how you can give and what your gift means to each of these organizations. I'm going to start with John, I think. John Baker with the Community Foundation of Central Missouri, welcome. And if you would, just tell us a bit about the foundation and how you're working in Como Helps.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Good to be here with the other folks as well. This is the collaborative body, as we consider ourselves, the Como Helps Collaborative, and we meet every morning to talk about what needs to be funded. The Community Foundation, we are in our 10th year. We had our 9th birthday in November of last year. We're in our 10th year, so we've not been around as long as some of the other organizations, but longer than some others as well. We have a dedicated fund called the COVID-19 Regional Relief Fund, into which we're putting all donations that are made specifically for that purpose. And 100% of those donations will go over time to pandemic relief. As many people know, we've gone through one stage and we're entering another stage of funding assistance. The first stage was the immediate urgent relief, and some of that is still going on, of course, but we're slowly transitioning into a longer term recovery phase, and all of the donations that have been given will indeed be distributed for pandemic relief. You can donate to the Community Foundation's fund by going to the comohelps.org link and click on Community Foundation, and it'll take you to our donation page and also how to write a check if you would rather do that than a credit card gift. We also are doing this in the spirit of collaboration, and so on our donation page, there's also a link to the United Way's funding basket as well. So if you want to give a gift to United Way through our page, you can do that also by clicking on their dedicated link on our page. But we're funding all manner of things for nonprofit organizations, health and human services, some, but we also do a lot of other things that are funding options. So nonprofit organizations that are facing a challenge that may not fall into the clear category of health and human services, we encourage you to also fill out an application for assistance, and then the Community Foundation or perhaps the Veterans United Foundation or some other funder might step up and help you with whatever you're facing.
Thanks, John. And as an example, I know we've been able to fund some requests from agencies like the Humane Society. That's a request that, say, the city and county wouldn't typically fund, or the United Way. And so it's been great to have the Community Foundation as a partner, because we all know that pets are a big part of folks' lives. And that was a tremendous help to the entire community. You know, we've also talked about in long-term recovery, other nonprofits like arts and cultural organizations and historical organizations and all kinds of nonprofits may need help. So it's been great to have you as a partner. We appreciate it.
Good, thank you. Good to be here.
Andrew, I'm going to turn to you next, I think. Andrew Graybaugh, again, is the Executive Director of the Heart of Missouri United Way. We work a lot with United Way on a regular basis, the city and county do, on funding. So this is just a natural extension of our partnership, and big thanks to the United Way for helping us raise other dollars. And I'll quickly say that the way this works in emergency operations is that the city's Office of Neighborhood Services is the lead on volunteer and donations management, and our friend and colleague Lee Kotwitz can't be here. But Lee was instrumental in getting us all together, and I just am so happy that we're able to organize under Como Helps, and happy to have United Way as a partner. So Andrew, I'll let you talk a little bit about your work.
Yeah, sure. So thank you so much. And yeah, you summed it up very well about the partnership. Prior even to the crisis, the partnership that we were able to have with the city and the county has been really instrumental in making sure that we identify and address the needs in our community, the most urgent needs in our community. So what this crisis has provided is an opportunity to even ramp up those collaborative opportunities more through this larger funders collaborative. So partnering with the Community Foundation and then also with the Veterans United Foundation has been just really fantastic. And having everyone come together daily to review proposals that agencies and nonprofit organizations have submitted through the comohelps.org website, and then to really come up with the best strategic solutions for addressing those emergent needs. Been really proud that we've been able to devote 100% of all of those funds to those agencies. So the Community Foundation, United Way, I mean, we're not getting a portion of those donated funds to run our operations. 100% of those gifts go to back out to the community to serve our community members in need. So what we've been able to do on the United Way front is expand also the way we currently make grants. United Way, under this effort, will support any health and human services nonprofit organization if it's deemed that the application is one that should be funded. And that's a slight departure, and it's an expansion of how we do work. I think what it's allowed us to do then as a collaborative, it's allowed us to reach more people in need, which is ultimately what we want to try to do. Been really happy also with the collaborative in that when we've funded different grants, we've been able to piggyback, if you will, and provide unduplicated resources that collaborate and really complement the overall goals that we're trying to achieve. And so a really good example, I think, I mean, there's numerous examples, but a really good example, for example, is what the Boys and Girls Club is doing with their funding. They're providing meals. This is something that Veterans United Foundation hopped on board and has supported. United Way through a grant has also helped to support that. And there's a lot of overlap through all of the funders in supporting the Boys and Girls Club. So it's been just a really good experience for us to come together and to make sure that during these trying times, we've got a strategic focus. We've got a deliberate process for awarding funds, getting money out to address those top community needs, and doing so in a way that really gets the most leverage out of those community dollars. So it's so that's what we've been doing right now. Our website has an updated to-date list of all the grants United Way's made through this effort, and we see this as something that really is for the long haul, right? I mean, we've got this immediate recovery, but there's a long-term recovery effort, and I'm excited that this Funders Collaborative is going to be a part of that conversation and hopefully some of those decisions going forward.
Absolutely, Andrew. Thank you so much. And I just, again, want to thank you guys for being so flexible. The city and county, just obviously as governmental entities, don't necessarily have as much flexibility. And so it's been just great to have you guys and the Community Foundation and Veterans United as partners and being really quick and responsive. And, we all have our strengths, and that's a real strength of our partners. So thank you so much. I think I'm going to turn next to Eric Morris. Eric, again, has a day job at Veterans United in Human Resources, but he's also the current president of the Veterans United Foundation, which really has emerged as a significant source of funding in our community and just a huge help in this response to the pandemic. So Eric, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. We've talked and it's unique, although obviously we're showing how great it can be but it is unique for all these partners to come together and do the things that Andrew was explaining too, that we're trying to look at this in a way that by collaborating, we can do more for the people in need. And like John was saying as well, that the prioritization of the way that we can look at things and see how can we all partner up and take a look at this is the way our community is doing it. And certainly it's not something that that I'm usually doing. The rest of the people on here today, that's mostly their day job. And you are all very used to seeing immediate needs and long-term needs, and being directly funding all of these. And so while our foundation does typically do that, it's different, of course, in that we're funded by our employees, and so we're the kind of the funding extension for how our employees want to give back and support the communities that we're in. And so every single day for me to start my day with hearing from and learning from all of you guys, and the expertise and the years that you bring for knowing what our community typically needs, and then also being so ready to immediately respond to it, that has just taken our foundation's ability to give back so much further, and it's informed it so well. And then I can go back to my coworkers and to our board, and I feel like I'm sharing with them that I know what the needs are because the right people are telling me what they are. And then I'm confident that we're doing what we know our employees want to, because we're all in this together. And it's given this small group of people working together has been an additional community that I feel a part of now. And it's been fantastic. I really love the work we're doing together.
Eric, thank you so much. And again, your flexibility and the speed with which you guys are able to respond is just astounding to us, particularly those of us in the government. That's been huge and obviously needed. And as you said, and just so our viewers know, we've mentioned this before, but all of us actually have a call every day at 8:15 in the morning to review any proposals, but also to go over needs, make plans, and recently really starting to turn our focus, not just to response, but as Andrew said, to the long-term recovery of our community, particularly our nonprofit partners that we all work with. We do a lot of coordination. I think one reason that donors can feel really good about donating through Como Helps is hopefully demonstrated the level of coordination. We look for things like duplication of service. We make sure that the nonprofits are accessing any of the resources that are available, and as needed and as applicable, we help them access those state and federal resources. So it's just a great way to give. And again, in addition to ComoHelps.org, today on Giving Tuesday, we're just encouraging to give either to ComoHelps.org or give to your favorite nonprofit, which is A-OK. All of us support that, and all nonprofits right now are in need. Or if you don't have the ability to give money, again, we've got some opportunities to donate your time. Or as we've said in the past, just check on your neighbor, check on folks, do it carefully, obviously using social distancing, but there's something everyone can do. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to Joanne Nelson. Joanne is the director of Boone County Community Services Department, and Joanne's helping me lead the Mass Care and Human Services response, but she's also a significant funder. Joanne manages the county's community health funding and also the Boone County Boone County Children's Services Fund. So I'll turn it over to Joanne to talk about her work and her relationship in Como Helps.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I'm real excited to be working with this group of people to really meet the needs of all the individuals in Boone County. And we're really able to do that through the county through what we call emergency procurements. This allows us the flexibility to actually make quick decisions on where the needs are. And we get those needs from anybody who turns in applications to Como Helps. And so with these dollars, we're able to provide some funding through the Community Health Fund, like Steve said, which is funding from the Boone Hospital lease. And it's really allowed us some flexibility to offer services that perhaps we couldn't offer through the Children's Services Fund. And the Children's Services Fund, we're able to, this comes from the quarter-cent sales tax that was passed in 2012, thanks to the taxpayers' approval. And we're really able to get some services out there. We're real excited about some of the crisis intervention, the trauma that we're programs that we're able to fund. And really the way we can collaborate and stretch these dollars by working with United Way, the VU Foundation, and the Community Foundation really does a lot for this community. So, you know, we do have some parameters around our funding that some of these other entities don't have. So we have to be very careful who we fund, and really have to be aware of, especially with these dollars, that we're really utilizing them wisely and avoid any duplication of services, which we're really able to avoid through this funding collaborative.
And thank you so much. And thanks to you and your staff for all the support you provide in our response. And needless to say, the Children's Services Fund is an incredible resource for our community. I know our department also works on the mental health response, and the Children's Services Fund has been a huge asset in helping us build some resources in the community during the response. If folks have questions, you can always contact any of us. And we will post this obviously on our Facebook page, where you can post questions, or you can just email us. These are also posted on our website. Again, for great resources on our community's pandemic response and information in general, go to the city's COVID-19 page. Again, on that page, there are links to the Get Help page, and also a link to the Give Help page, which will take you to comohelps.org. Again, on Giving Tuesday, we're asking that if you have the ability to do so, to consider donating to Como Helps to support nonprofits in our community, both in the response and now at this point in the long-term recovery of our community. As John said, we've funded over $770,000 in financial assistance requests, but we have had over $1.3 million in requests. So we could use the donations. So again, if you have the ability to do so, today would be a great day to give. I want to thank all of our panelists for joining us and for all their help. This is such a unique thing. A lot of us have colleagues all over the country. I'm not aware of any other communities that have 6 funders working together, 6 funding sources on a single application in response to the pandemic. This is very unique, and I think it's something that folks in Columbia and Boone County should be really proud of. Again, thanks to our panelists, John Baker with the Community Foundation of Central Missouri, Joanne Nelson with the Boone County Community Services Department, Andrew Graybaugh with the Heart of Missouri United Way, and Eric Morris with Veterans United. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And as a reminder, if you want to give help, go to comohelps.org, And if you need to get help, either call 211 or go to the city's COVID-19 Get Help page. Thanks everybody for joining us again, and we'll see you next Tuesday, and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well.
Thanks. Good to see you guys.
Thank you guys for joining.